My guest in studio, Myra Rivera, is with a group. It's called Mama, right, Myra?
Correct.
Yeah. Come over to the microphone, Myra. Let me see if the thing is on. Yeah. Put the headphones on. That. Oh, you got the headphones on. That way you can hear it. So you talk right into the microphone. Mama.
Yes.
What is Mama, Myra?
It stands for Mothers Advocating Medical Marijuana for Autism. My son actually doesn't have autism. He has epilepsy and along with a lot of other health issues. Wow. But a lot of the kids with autism have epilepsy. So, the group is conservative. They're not trying to legalize recreational. So we have a lot of the same values. So it's an organization that I can really relate to and work with.
How old is your boy?
My son is 14 now.
14 now. There's a lifelong struggle for you. When did you discover, whatever you can tell me, that the medical benefits of marijuana, their oils or ointments, whatever can come from it, was very helpful to your son? Tell me a little bit about your...
So my son actually got sick after 4 months, and he suffered a reaction, which I'm not going to go into, which is another controversial topic. But he got sick. He literally deteriorated within hours, was hospitalized, and he just lost all his milestones and got sick. And over time, we found out that his brain started shrinking. And to this day, he still doesn't have an official diagnosis. I mean, we have an idea of what happened to him, but as far as the doctors are concerned, there's no official diagnosis. So since he's been 4 months, we've been literally fighting to keep him alive. And he used to have seizures once a year, every 18 months, 2 years. But then about 3 years ago, he started having seizures regularly. And there's no pain like watching your child suffer. And to struggle with epilepsy, I mean, every time my son has a seizure, it's like it's like his first one. I mean, you don't know if your child is going to die at that moment, because that's what can happen during the seizure. Your heart can stop and it can literally kill you. So you're in this mode where, you don't know if your kid is about to die right in front of you. So I learned about medical marijuana a few years ago when, my son started having seizures, and we started the CBD, and we noticed a big difference because my son at that time was having grand mal seizures he would have several a day. And then when we started the CBD initially, he went 6 weeks without them. And then it's been kind of like a trial and error. So as I've become more aware of, more familiar with CBD, is you kind of have to play around with the dosage, because sometimes they get used to the dosage and then you have to up the dosage. And then, my son's growing, so you have to keep upping the dosage. So right now he's doing really well. And yeah, we're trying to, talk to legislatures about this issue and hopefully do something in Texas.
Myra Rivera is with this group called Mama, Mothers Advocating for Medicinal Marijuana. Okay. And at Austin, this legislative session, catch me up to speed, all of us up to speed. What has been suggested, written, filed? What's the story of, on this up in Austin?
So I actually have been advocating for about 2 years. Last year, I spent a lot of time in Austin. met Ronna Romney McDaniel, which is the chair of the RNC. I've gotten to meet, we were actually working with Congressman Pete Sessions, who is the former chair of the House Rules Committee. And he actually was very instrumental in, he actually wrote a letter to the Texas Medical Association to come out in support of medical marijuana. And they actually did last month, which was great. And so there has been a few bills filed. Unfortunately, we would like more THC. This is a very conservative bill right now, this HB 1365, which is probably the one that has the best chance to pass. And it already got unanimously voted out of public health.
Okay.
But it's very conservative. It's only 0.5 THC, which is what is currently legal in Texas, but it's for epilepsy only. But this is going to be adding more qualifying conditions, including autism.
Okay.
And it provides protection for parents and caregivers to be able to administer it. And it would also establish an in-state medical cannabis research program.
In the state of Texas, 0.5 THC, which is one of the chemical components that comes from marijuana.
Correct.
It does not come from hemp. hemp is listed at, what is it, 0.3 or something, or maybe less than that. It's much smaller than that on the hemp side.
Yeah, so hemp is completely different from the marijuana plant. I mean, they're different.
Is the THC the one that is in marijuana that is needed by folks who
3-minute stations.
From folks who suffer from epilepsy and other medical issues. That's what we need. And it has been approved on a limited basis, right, in Texas for certain conditions. And what's being debated right now is maybe expanding the list of people who can take that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And so, right now there's in Colorado, they use a rescue nasal spray for epilepsy, but they also use it for seizures, and that's 5%. Wow. I mean, the typically a recreational user is looking for 25%. So 0.5 is incredibly conservative. I mean, there's really not a chance you're going to get high on 0.5 when you need 25%. So, that rescue nasal spray, and I think this is important for people to really understand is, one time my son had a seizure and we couldn't give him his rescue medication because his heart rate was at 20. I mean, sorry, his oxygen was at 20. So,
jeez.
Yes. So if we had given him the rescue med, his heart would have stopped and he probably would have died. So he had a seizure that lasted 20 minutes long. So he was convulsing for 20 minutes. And in Colorado, you have an option of giving a rescue nasal spray that you can find on YouTube. There's videos of parents giving this rescue nasal spray, and it stops the seizure in 20 seconds.
Wow.
So, the only people that are suffering because of the current state laws are families like mine, because people that want to do it illegally are going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the law says; they're going to do it either way. So really, the current law is it's hurting families like mine, and yeah.
Myra Rivera, mothers advocating for medicinal marijuana. There's at least one piece of legislation, from what I gather, you telling me that at least that one piece of legislation at least has a little bit of sunshine glowing on it right now. It might be able to move forward. So what do you need families who are concerned and maybe like to help you out? What do you need them to do?
Well, I would ask that they call their state representatives and ask them to sign on to HB 1365. And, right now we're just trying to get a meeting with the governor or lieutenant governor, meetings that were promised to me. And we're just trying to share our story. I mean, we can't change people's minds unless we sit down with them and say, hey, this is the issue. This is what we've tried. Medicines are literally killing our kid. And that's nearly what happened to my son last year. I mean, the medicines literally killed my son last year. And if people really knew the severity of the situation and what medicines are doing, then maybe they'd have more compassion for us.
Is there a video or a website you can point people to maybe explain this? Patiently sit down and kind of watch something?
They can look at, on Facebook, it's TX Mama or Mama USA. They can look at that page. So that is something that maybe they could take a look at. But I can also probably share a few videos with you and then maybe you can link them up to the...
Now, I understand a friend that told me there's some type of documentary or video that's coming up here pretty soon. And when they're done with that, I think they've had a chance to speak with you. When you're done with that, you come back and see us, right? What?
Yes, we're going to be in a documentary. I can't share the details too much yet, and I don't know when it's coming out. But the trailer, it's on Facebook. It's called Weediatrics, and you can find it on Facebook. You can find it on YouTube as well. And that's all I can say for now. But whenever it's about to come out, I'll for sure come back.
When do you think it might come out? What it's telling you?
I have no idea. No? We have no idea. I just know we filmed for a year and a half, and the trailer just came out.
The trailer, you need to Google or Bing the thing, Weediatrics.
Correct.
Weediatrics, and you'll find what all that is about. Keep us posted, Myra, on that. Do you have a number on that piece of legislation that's moving forward?
Yes.
They peg a number to that? Maybe you can...
It's HB 1365, and it was filed by Representative Eddie Lucio III from out of Brownsville. Very grateful for him.
You got to say the name right. It's Eddie Lucio the Third.
The Third.
Well, it's moving forward and expanding the list of medical ailments and folks who suffer from certain conditions, expanding the list so they get access to the 0.5 THC oils, or
yes.
What is it? What is it?
It's really just oils. Oil? Yes. Okay. And that's what I give my son, and It works. It
Would
helps.
they be able to access, if they say yes to that, can they get access to the nasal spray that you were talking about as well?
No, that's 5%. So that's not, it wouldn't be legal here in Texas. And that's what we're trying to tell the governor is, we're asking for sprays.
And you need to sit
oils.
down with the
Yes.
governor, sit down with Lieutenant Governor, and show a human side, human face to this, and you keep fighting.
Yes,
Myra,
I'll definitely do
you
that.
come back and see us again. Myra Rivera, again, mothers advocating for medicinal marijuana. The need is real. The benefits are real. And the push continues. And Myra just needs to have a sit down with the governor and Lieutenant Governor to talk about HB 365 that was put in motion and might be expanding here pretty soon. There's other pieces of legislation that need to be considered as well. Final thought, Myra, before I let you go.
I just wish people, it's easy to judge when you're not in our shoes, and all we're trying to do is just share our stories, and so people could have compassion.
Come back and see us, please. Keep us posted. What's going on?
Thank you.